Excuse me, I'm thinking here.
Welcome to the Shower Thoughts Podcast, episode 6, coming at you from my living room. And the question of the day is, who would you invite to your celebrity dinner party? They can be dead or alive. I've given this question a lot of thought, and I believe there's 5 categories of people, and you can only invite 5 people to your dinner party because it's a 6-person table, obviously, and you are the host. It should be an athlete, a comedian, a personality, a prominent business leader, and a musician of any kind. Based off the top of my head, athlete, that was a hard one to think of because I don't really watch sports, nor do I really care. But my brother really likes Kobe Bryant and his Mamba mentality stuff. So I would invite Kobe Bryant because he's very inspirational. People love him. He's very successful. Comedian, Maya Rudolph. Big SNL fan over here. She seems like an absolute hoot and pleasure to have around. Personality, we're gonna do Kiki Palmer. She's bold, she's fun, she's beautiful, she's brave, she's herself. She can just talk to anyone about anything. Prominent business leader, I really couldn't think of anybody. I know companies that I like, but I just don't know if I'd like talking to their leaders and CEOs. I left that blank. Singer, once again, I couldn't really think of someone specific. I like a lot of singers, but I don't know if I'd get along with them. Someone that I came to mind that I would have a lot of questions for is Justin Bieber, especially because he came to fame so young at 14, what that was like for him, how he's doing now, how he is doing as a father. How's Haley? Pop culture, the Olympics are upon us. I saw this come up in my feed that was Olympic events that no longer exist. This is from the account Secret NYC. I do not know if this is fact checked or true, but we're going to go down the list. First one is hot air ballooning. This is something I subscribe to. I wish it was still a thing where competitors were judged based on distance, duration, and elevation. So basically, how far, how long, and how high up they could keep their hot air balloon. That probably was a really long competition to watch, which is probably why it got cut. Next one was live pigeon shooting, and it was immediately retired because of how unpopular it was. I don't really think hunting should be in the Olympics, so I'm so glad that got cut. Tug of war. Yes, please. Every Olympic season, there's always a post saying, what if the Olympics was like the Hunger Games draft? We're just regular people. We're put into the Olympics to do sports that you could see how impressive real Olympians are, or just kind of have a reality check. This would be a great Olympic sport to do for the common folk version of the Olympics. Solo synchronized swimming. What do you mean synchronized solo? You need to be in sync with other people. So that makes sense why that was cut, because that literally doesn't make sense. Obstacle course swimming race. This kind of gives American Ninja Warrior, but a whole other level. Athletes had to climb over poles, scramble under boats, and dodge who knows what floating in the Seine River. Parkour meets American Ninja Warrior. That sounds kind of dangerous, honestly, but I guess every sport's dangerous to a certain degree. I think American Ninja Warrior should be in the Olympics, especially because speed climbing is in the Olympics. There's a strong pipeline between rock climbers and American Ninja Warriors. That would be amazing. Poodle clipping. 128 people competed to see who could clip the most poodles in 2 hours. Yikes. Let's not involve animals in the Olympics here, because when it's speed involved in scissors, I feel like this could be borderline animal abuse. Glad that got cut. And that's everything on the list that I could see. And next was another list that I saw on Instagram that was if Disney was to cast a live action Incredibles movie. The Incredibles is this family of superheroes. We got Violet, who can disappear, Jack, who gets set on fire, Dash, who's really fast, Mr. Incredible, who's really strong, and then Mrs. Incredible, or Elastigirl, who's really stretchy. This is based on appearance. We've got David Harbour as Mr. Incredible. That makes so much sense. I would not have thought of them off the top of my head, but he looks just like Mr. Incredible. I agree with that. Anna Hendricks as Elastigirl. I don't know if I'm not completely sold on it. I think maybe the woman who played the amazing Kimmy Schmidt, she's also a ginger, mayhaps Scarlett Johansson. She was a ginger in one of those superhero movies. Was it Captain America? So she could be it. Next, we've got Callum Vinson as Dash. I just honestly think any blonde boy could do, because there's not many child actors right now. Jenna Ortega as Violet, 100%. She sells the dark aesthetic. She still looks like she could pass off as a teenager, even though she's in her 20s. She would be a great Violet. It's totally up her alley. Sign her up. We've got TikToker Neve as Carrie McKean. I don't even remember. She was the babysitter. I forgot about her. The similarity is uncanny. I see it. Linda Hunt as Edna Mode. Please, come on. They are literally the same person. This person's a genius. We've got Deacon Lockman. She's totally Mirage. That's her. Jamie Foxx as Frozone. But I'm not completely sold again on this one. I think there could be better fits for that. I just can't think of any at the moment. Let's do some more digging on the Frozone one. Justin Prentice as Syndrome. I disagree. There's the guy from We Are the Millers that I think would be a much better fit. Let me find him. Will Poulter. Yep, this guy. He's perfect. Look at him. Will Poulter for that dude, whatever his name is. Oh, Syndrome. Peter Dinklage as Gilbert Huff or Hugh, whatever. Not completely sold on this one. Good getting the ball rolling, but I think we could do better. Noah Schnapp as Tony Riedinger. Yes, I see it. I see the vision. Full send. Winona Ryder as Evelyn Devore. I don't remember this character. They got the wispy bangs. Why not? Danny DeVito as the Underminer. Now I'm like, who are these characters? I do not remember them, but sure, who doesn't love Danny DeVito? Corey Michael Smith as Helectrix. He could work. So could Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco. I don't know if Brendan Urie acts, but I see him. I see him in this role. Neil Patrick Harris as Winston. No, it does not work. I love Neil Patrick Harris, though. I can't think of anybody. I think they need an older guy than Neil. Kristen Stewart as Void. Obviously. Look at that extreme side part with the shaves. It's obvious. There's no one else. Tommy Lee Jones as Dicker. Don't remember this guy. Maybe he was the boss. Think you could do better. Keep workshopping that one. And I thought most of them were pretty good and great job casting. Next, we're moving on to observations. Adulthood is really setting in. What really did that for me was the day that I woke up with dark circles under my eyes. That was a tough day. I looked in the mirror and I was like, will it rub away? Nope. Rubbing it actually made it worse. So I used foundation, caked that on. I am tired at 8 p.m. and need caffeine to stay up later than that. The past 2 nights I've gone to bed at 8:30. My sleep score is in the gutter. It is in the gutter because if I want to socialize after work, I have to stay up late. I wish I could have it all. I wish I could have a social life after work, but go to bed at a reasonable time. But no, there's always sacrifices in life. And that's what I'm learning. Last night, I got 9.5 hours of sleep. My sleep score is finally above the 90s. It has not been that way. Average sleep time has been 7 hours and 12 minutes this past week. That is awful. I'm someone who needs at least 9 hours of sleep. I don't know how I didn't need an energy drink today. We're on the up and up. The night before, I got 8.5 hours of sleep, but then the night before, I only got 5. And then I only got 3 hours Saturday night. It's a shit show. I look at my sleep score and I cringe and I want to throw up and I just want to take a nap. And after work, I don't want to be on screens because I've just been on screens for 8 hours. So I'm a terrible texter. I don't text that much during the workday because I'm at work. I do text more when I'm at home because I don't feel like I'm in trouble if I text at home. Another adulting thing that I'm noticing is I am making plans 2 to 3 weeks in advance because my weekends fill up, because the weekends are really the only time you can do stuff that's longer than 3 hours. And I want at least 2 days a week where I have nothing to do after work. I was supposed to do something with a friend, but I canceled because this was the only day that I had nothing. Literally, this entire week, including weekends, this is the only day that I have nothing after work or just to do. Then I feel guilty, but I am so happy. It's 5:30 and I'm here and I'm in my PJs, except for this jacket. I can read. I've been missing reading. That's so adult that I'm like, I want to read. I don't want to socialize. I want to read my book. Next, I'm going to talk about gym bros, but specifically Gym bros' body image issues. I was talking to someone who is a bodybuilder, referring to these guys as skinny, but I'm like, no, in the women's eyes, they're jacked. They might not be buff, but they're jacked. They're ripped. They have prominent shoulder muscles. Their legs aren't stick chicken legs. They might be lean, but they're not skinny. When I picture skinny, I picture like long distance runner, no single ounce of muscle or fat on their body. I could beat you in an arm wrestling match, kind of skinny. Or Timothy Chalamet, kind of skinny. But they're naming people that are like, who is a good reference? Michael B. Jordan, Steph Curry, where they're just lean muscle. Those are skinny. No, I strongly disagree. I think it's very interesting that men's definition of skinny is different than women's definition of skinny. Speaking on the topic of bodybuilding, deadlifting, I was once told that if you deadlift, you lose brain cells. In deadlifting heavy weights, brought this up to him, and he's like, if that's the case, then you can use brain cells lifting any heavy weight, like a squat or a press or a clean and jerk. I have Googled how can you lose brain cells? What does it actually mean to lose brain cells? And this is what it said. You can lose brain cells or neurons through various mechanisms, including cognitive diseases, traumatic injuries, strokes, substance abuse, and chronic unhealthy habits like severe stress and sleep deprivation. I am losing brain cells by getting an average of 7 hours of sleep a night. This is terrible. That's such a lame way to lose brain cells. They're saying if you have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, those kind of neurodegenerative diseases, you can lose brain cells. A stroke, obviously, because it cuts off blood and oxygen from your brain, which causes rapid neuron death. Infections and inflammation, such as encephalitis, which is brain inflammation, and infectious diseases like HIV, AIDS, and syphilis can cause brain cell loss. Physical traumatic brain injuries like concussions, head injuries, and shaking can crush or damage neurons. So not lose, but damage. Substance abuse, chronic stress. Because high levels of cortisol can damage the hippocampus, which can inhibit the growth of new neurons. Insufficient or poor quality sleep can lead to accumulation of toxins in the brain and cause neurons in energy-producing regions to die from extended wakefulness. Poor diet and dehydration, such as skipping breakfast or chronic dehydration, can cause stress on the brain cells and impair function. A sedentary lifestyle is also linked to cognitive decline and loss of gray matter. So deadlifting actually will cure and promote the growth of brain cells, not kill them. That's good to know. Dehydration, I'm on a quest to hydrate, and I have noticed strong improvements because my lips are no longer cracked and my hands are actually moist, like smooth and not sandpaper. So I'm not losing brain cells that way, but I might be losing brain cells through my poor sleep. And last but not least, song that's living in my head rent-free is Out the Window by Kehlani. I watched a video today of her with recess therapy, where recess therapy is when celebrities come into elementary school classrooms and teach them in one of their specialties. So for instance, Kehlani taught them about R&B music, and she made a music video for them to the song Out the Window, which she sang, and gave them a little choreography. These kids had yearning that I was not expecting from them. I'm like, how do you know what it's like to have your heart thrown out the window? If they're gifted, they're going to be going places. And here we go, Out the Window, Kehlani.
Silent treatment be so fucking loud. I feel the tension even though you're not around. One night of mistakes erased all the days I spent building up with you. Damn, give anything for you to pick up when I call. So hard to reach, it's like I'm talking to a wall. And I know I'm to blame. I played in your face. It's too little, too late, but baby, I want you. I'm focused. It's overdue. Don't throw it out the window. Out the window. Late night, the half truth. I was reckless. Let me prove to you I've thrown out the window. Out the window. I knew I fell too short of what you needed. My apologies, you won't receive it now. Ever since you left, I ain't been sleeping. Cause I've been in my feelings. Oh, even my mama been asking me about you. I heard your mama been asking about me too. But I know I'm to blame. I played in your face. Too little, too late.
You get the gist. It's a really good song, so soulful. How dare they do Kehlani wrong like that? I'll see you next week for episode 7. Bye.